This Vinny Vid production brought to you by Yankee Dabbler. For all your model railroad needs, check out Yankee Dabbler. Don't forget, 7% discount with BNSF 6951. And by Highways and Byways, awesome street graphics for your roads and streets on your model railroad layout. If you guys are looking for sophisticated model railroad electronics, Logic Rail Technologies has what you need. For a 5% discount on certain items, use code BNSF6951. Alright guys, now it's time for the next step on your layout. Trees! I have been dealing with Bob for 7 years now, and he does excellent work on his trees. So if you need some trees on your layout, check out Long Shadow's Trees. Tell him the Cuzzz sent you. All right, guys, welcome to Friday Night with the Cuzzz. How's everybody doing tonight? I'm glad you all can make it in. I really like hanging out with you guys on Friday nights. Lackawanna Railroad, how's it going? Nice to see you in here, buddy. Mystic Railway, John 2618, Joe Rader, M&M Short Lines, Charles Greason. How's everybody doing tonight? Glad you all can make it in here. Anyhow, we got a special guest with me tonight, and I think most of you guys might know him. Gary Weiss, how's it going? Dan's Grand Valley Railroad, how you doing, buddy? James Young, New Fenris Railroad, how's it going? Nice to see you all in here. Glad you can all make it in. Spend your Friday night with me. Roy Smith, N-Scale Union Pacific Everson Division, how's it going, my friend? Nice to see you in here. Let's see, I think I got everybody. Besides typing and calling your names out, I think I got everybody in here. So, with all of that being said, I think maybe we should get the show on the road. And we'll see how it goes. First thing I want to do is all my super chats from last week. Manny Fernandez, 2 times. Shay Barker. I think it's Shay Barker. My handwriting really is terrible. RDA, N-Scale, Kevin Brown, Grandpa Rails, and Melvin Fackler. And if Melvin shows up in here tonight, I'm going to make him a happy man. Because those windows that I showed you earlier, Rick, those were for his build that I'm doing for him. Scott Johnson, nice to see you in here, buddy. Glad you can make it in. All right, we got our weekly shows. We have on Monday, we have Nate's HON3 Broad Top Railroad. He goes on at 7 o'clock. Then right after him, we got Tom's Trains and Things, goes on at 8 p.m. These are all Eastern times, fellas. On Tuesday evenings, we have On Track Tuesday. They go on at 7 o'clock. And then we have Scratch Build with me at 8 o'clock on Tuesday. Thank you very much, Manny Fernandez. I will be shipping your project out here pretty soon, buddy. And I hope you like it when you get it. On Wednesday nights, this is a little confusing now because my little brother Sparky threw a curveball at us on Wednesday night. But anyhow, the first Wednesday, we have Community Roundhouse. The second Wednesday is open because Sparky is going to be kicking back for a while. He's not going to be doing his live streams for a while. He's still going to be on YouTube, but he's not going to be doing his live streams. So just be aware of that. Robert Frank Crow, how's it going, my friend? Nice to see you in here. Midsummer Railway, glad to see you can make it in tonight. All right, let's see. On third Wednesday, we have TSG, John, TSG Multimedia. And then again, the fourth Wednesday is open, and the fifth Wednesday will be open also. And then after them, we have Michael McCarville at 8 p.m. Then on Thursday, we have Hot Rod Rodney. And you guys need to check him out because he's doing a really good job on his little live stream. Give him a little bit of love and turn into his live streams on Thursday and on Friday. Just before my show, he does another show. So I just mentioned that on Friday is Hot Rod Rodney. And then we have Humanity Junction at about 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. And then about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we have Anthony Dodge, the outside railroader. And then we got Hot Rod Rodney at 7 and then me at 8 o'clock. Dwayne, how's it going, buddy? Container Man 68, how's it going? Sorry, I won't be doing this one. I missed that. Sorry. Carolina Foothills, glad to see you can make it in here tonight. All right, let's see, where were we? Friday, I got all that. Okay, on Saturday, we have Back on Track. They are on at 7 a.m. Eastern time, way before I get up on a Saturday. And Toy Man, he's on about 7 o'clock. I know he does 2 shows, one on Friday and one on Saturday. One of them is not general public. It's kind of like X-rated. Then on Sunday, we got Nora at 7 p.m. and then Sidetrack Sunday at 8 p.m. A little bit of bad news this week. One of our YouTube family members fell down and broke his hip, and that person is Redbird Tony 2010. So you guys might want to say a little prayer for him. Not all the time, Roy. You might want to say a little prayer for him because he's having a hip transplant. And also, my premiere video tomorrow is going to be on a Walters kit. It's called Diamond Coal Corporation. There you go. I couldn't think of the word. And it's about 30 minutes long. I show you the first part. This will be part 1 of this build. This build is for Melvin Thackler. I don't know if he's in here. I haven't seen him in here. If anybody has seen him, don't have to say hello to me, so I know he's here. Anyhow, I'm working on his build, and we'll be getting that out. Hopefully, I might get it finished by this weekend if I concentrate on it. You have only tonight and tomorrow to get stuff off my Teespring store. 5% discount ends tomorrow night. So if you guys want to get that 5% discount, go to Teesprings. It's in my, Ralph will probably be putting that up, but it's also in the bottom of any of my videos in the show more section. It's the very first link. I want to thank everybody who has been buying stuff from there. It's going to help me out getting more equipment that I need to get. And I'm waiting for something to show up tonight. So if the doorbell rings, I'm going to be running to the door to get what it is. Anyhow, I think we got all of that covered up now. Let's see, where is that other thing I want? It is right there. And in a minute, I will bring my guest up. And a lot of you guys know him, and I know Heath knows him. He's been watching his videos. Anyhow, you guys say hello to Rick, SoCal Scale Models. How you doing, Rick?
Hi, Vinny. How's it going?
I'm doing pretty good. Welcome to Cousin Vinny's hot seat.
Oh boy.
That's
Fire
for you.
Away.
No cheating. You can't cheat. All right. So we're gonna ask Rick a few questions here. And if you guys think of a question that you might want to ask him, go ahead and ask him. If I see it, I will put it up on the screen so everybody can see the question. Anyhow, Rick, we're going to start off with the first question. When did you get interested in trains?
It's the standard question and the standard answer there. So back when I was a kid, I got the Christmas train set, and back when I was like 7 or 8 or something like that, that's where it all started. So yeah. Ever since then, it's been, off and on with, building different layouts and stuff like that. And here I am currently doing this one.
All right. Now, the next question I'm going to ask you kind of answered in the first question.
Okay. So I'll try not to do that again.
It's going to happen. No matter what, it's going to happen. But I will ask the question anyhow, because maybe you can get into depth a little bit further on it. Okay. When did you get your first train set?
Yeah. Okay. So like when I was 7 or 8, yep. Like the Tyco train set under the Christmas tree.
Around the Christmas tree?
Yep. Yep.
Was it a steam locomotive or a diesel locomotive?
I think it was diesel. I don't remember the exact one that I had that was the first one, but I'm sure it was a diesel.
Hello, Splint Rock. How's it going? Otter Creek and Rio Grande. Nice to see you in there. Kevin Brown, glad you can make it in. Caboose 121. How's it going? I think I got everybody. All right. What is your favorite loco?
Ooh, well, I know
you just bought a couple of different ones.
Yeah, I know. I just bought a whole bunch of them. I'm going to have to say, and I actually have it sitting here. So here it is. This is currently my favorite one. It's the Athearn Genesis GP7U. I love this thing. I don't know why. Probably because it's like old school or something.
Actually, I was kind of partial to the Jeep 40 you were running the last video.
Yeah, that's actually the newest one. So
yeah, I like that one.
yeah, that'll be in the next operations video.
All right, so I asked you that. What do you prefer, steam or diesel?
Diesel. Yep. I don't have any steam. I don't know if I've ever had any steam locomotives. Not that I don't like them. It's just, I don't know. I like modern stuff.
Okay. How long have you been modeling?
Modeling. Well, that's a loaded question. Forever.
You didn't think you were going to get away with this easy, did you?
Well, I mean, so I've been modeling model railroads since I was 7. And then, you get into the, making model, airplanes and tanks and things like that. And so,
and then you get into the hot rods and the girls.
Yeah. And then you take a break and then you come back to it. Yep.
Right. Okay. I know the answer to this, but a lot of people in the chat may not know the answer to this. Do you do operations or continuous run?
Operations. So that's if anybody's seen my channel, it's pretty small. So it's all based operations. No real running.
Well, you got the all you have to do is put a no, you don't, because you're just a U shape, right? You're not a full.
I'm just a big circle, basically.
Oh, you are a circle. Okay.
Yeah, I'm basically a big circle.
So you can do a continuous run if you wanted to.
I can do a continuous run, yeah. Yep.
Okay.
And so that's probably what I just started playing around with that, because I can have a continuous run, and then I've got a little branch that runs off into Huntington Beach, which you see behind me here. And that's outside of the continuous run loop. So what I've started doing is doing a continuously running train, and then I do switching and have to deal with that train going around the loop. So
there you go. That's the spoiler train.
Yeah.
We got a question from Heath here. It says you have the fastest growing model railroad channel with almost 2,000 subs in a year. How are you growing so quickly?
I have no idea. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just you gotta put yourself out there a little bit, and it's kind of cliche, but do quality content. And that's not saying that I do quality content. It's just I hit on something and people like the videos that I do, and I started growing quickly.
Hello, Mr. Dwight Curley and Mr. Ralph Greenwood. How you guys doing tonight? Glad you can make it in tonight. All right. What is your favorite rolling stock?
Let me think about that. Wow, I've got so many. I like we
got an hour, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, I like the really weathered ones, which I tend to weather everything like a lot. But I think I've got a tanker car that rarely makes it into my operating sessions, but it's probably the most expensive car I have. I bought that maybe like, I don't know, 15 years ago or something, and it was like $30 or $40 back then.
Wow.
And it's just highly detailed. I love that car.
Hello, Mr. Grandpa Rails and Digger Evans. How you guys doing tonight? All right. So why did you choose the scale that you model?
I didn't know any better.
So otherwise you would have went
HO. I always had HO, and so I just stuck with it.
I was going to say you could go to the better scale, which is N scale, and you could have a lot more. More stuff on your layout.
Yeah, but things are so small, and when you get older, you got to have the glasses and everything, and
No, because I got 20 years on you, buddy, and I don't have any problem seeing the stuff. All right, let's see. Where was I? Why did you choose the area that you model?
So one, I live in Southern California, and so I love the Southwest. So California, Arizona, Nevada, all that kind of stuff. And since I live in California, I figured I might as well model it. So that's I actually, when I started thinking about this layout, I had a prior layout that was more freelance, but it was still sort of Southern California based. But it was totally freelance. It wasn't really based on anything. It was just scenes that I liked in Southern California. Like if you've ever been to San Clemente Beach, or you've seen like the surf liner, running along the beach. So I had a scene like that, and then I like something in the desert. So I had a desert scene.
Yeah, there you
And,
go.
things like that. And then I won't go too far, but then that was just a rail fanning thing. And so
I got another question for you real quick. In our conversation earlier, you were thinking about retiring to Phoenix.
yes.
Will you change your modeling? Will you model something here in Phoenix, or will you
I started thinking about that, I'm going to have to change it to like, I don't know, Valiant scale models or something.
Model.
No, I don't know. I have no idea. I might do something totally different.
There you go.
It'll be a switching layout of some sort.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's plenty. I mean, I do the area that I can see and get to real easy. But when Roy Hardwick comes here, he takes me to places here in Phoenix I have never seen before.
Yep.
And there is a ton of industry in that part of town. And so like, you might be able to do that because I know you like switching. And that would probably be the best place for you to start checking out if you wanted to do that. When you move here.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way I kind of came up with my current layout, which basically is the Union Pacific line that runs from like Southeast LA through Orange County around Anaheim and then ends up in Huntington Beach.
Right.
The way I found that was I actually just went on Google Maps and started looking at the lines and seeing, where was there something I could model and where were the industries that I could, try out and everything.
Right,
so it's kind of how I came up with it. So yeah, I've actually looked at the Phoenix area too. So I know there's some nice switching areas out throughout that area.
Yes. Let's see. I thought I'd seen somebody here I did not say hello to. Let me back up a little bit. Drew Steele, how's it going, buddy? Glad you could make it in here. And Lehigh River Subdivision, glad you could make it in also. All right. Now, this question I usually ask, but I'm not going to ask it because we can see it sitting behind you. But what is the size of your layout?
So let's see. My layout is in my garage. It is, let me think about this, 16 by about 10 or 11 feet.
So you're using one stall of your garage? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, I've got like one of those 3-car garages. It's more like 2.5. And so I'm using one stall.
Okay. Yeah, I just saw Mr. Melvin Fackler come by. Hello, Melvin. How's it going, buddy? Shay Barker, how's it going? Yeah, that's the one I said before, Shay Barker. Thank you for your super chat last week, Shay. I appreciate that. All right, where are we? Now, I know the answer to this one, but again, a lot of people in the chat may not know. Do you do videos, and how often do you do videos?
Whenever I feel like it. Yeah, I do videos, and I think I'm averaging like 2 videos a week. So, and I kind of flip flop. I go between just layout updates, showing what I've done in the last week and whatnot. And then I do an operations video, which takes a lot more time to actually do. So yes. Most of the week is taken up doing an operations video. The layout updates take like 10 minutes.
Yeah, really. Yeah, exactly.
Just walking around with the camera and talking.
Hey, Kyle Stevens, glad you can make it in here, buddy. Can't spell tonight. Oh, James Young can't spell tonight. Don't feel bad. I can't either. All right. Do you post videos on other media platforms?
Nope. Well, YouTube, and I do link the videos to different groups in Facebook, but no other platforms other than that.
Joey Butzek says, Rick, your layout has great design. I really enjoy watching your stuff.
No, thank you. Thank you very much.
Ink Thrills, Brian, how's it going, my friend? Nice to see you in here. All right. What do you like about the hobby?
Keeps your mind off of everything else, I guess.
Yeah.
No, there's so many different facets. You've heard other people say that, but there's so many different facets of the hobby that you can enjoy. So you can kind of focus in on stuff that you like. If you like the electrical part, or the woodworking construction part, or if you're into, playing with the electronics and the DCC decoders and stuff like that, you can kind of focus in on that, or scenery, or operations or rail fanning, so that I really like the fact that there's so many different facets of the hobby that it pretty much, can fill everybody's, like,
Whatever. Yeah, exactly.
whatever they're into.
Well, now that we know what you like, what do you dislike?
I hate couplers. I hate changing couplers on my
Really?
locomotives and stuff, especially the locomotives. So I don't know if anybody saw the video I just posted a little while ago. I had put a current keeper in the new GP40 that I got, and I hate having to take them damn couplers off, and I lose the screw in the carpet. And then I got to try to make sure I don't pull the LED lights out, when I take the lid off and everything. I hate doing that. I think I'd rather ballast track, for like a month straight.
Wow, there would be a lot of controversy about that, because a lot of people do not like the ballast track.
No, neither do I.
And that's something I need to get going on too on my layout. I need to ballast some track. I mean, I got two brand new jars of ballast, and they had not even been broken open yet. All right, let's continue on here. We know that you have the one layout sitting behind you, but do you have a second layout or a third layout?
Nope. I have a programming track on a piece of wood. And not that that's considered a layout, but no, that's the only layout I have.
Well, I mean, all right. I mean, lots of people don't have, but there are Lackawanna Railroad, for instance. He's got an HO and an N scale.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yep.
Yeah. So, it's like some people do have two layouts. They may not be tremendously big, but they do have two layouts.
Yeah, no, I might do some expansion to this one, but I only have so much room.
Yeah, I know how that is. I'm taking up 2 rooms in mine right now.
Yep.
And Roy Hardwick wants me to do, like, from my right side to my left side is about 20 feet. Okay. And it is my kitchen dining area. Okay. So I am sitting across from my kitchen counter right now.
Yep.
So Roy wants
me
to
Phoenix, so you got to do it inside anyway. You can't do it in your garage unless you've got AC in your garage.
Yeah, exactly. So Roy wants me to do an HO switching layout on this wall here. And I said, no, that ain't going to happen.
Yeah, it's an idea, because I'm in my office right now, which is one of my spare bedrooms here. I could do a little shelf layout here, do a little switching layout.
There you go.
So yeah, then more videos on that to come then maybe.
There you go. Steve 87, how's it going, my friend? Glad you make it in tonight. Yes, Vinny, do it. No, I can't do it, Joey. I'm sorry. No. This is a house. I'm supposed to have a kitchen, and I'm supposed to have a place to eat, all that stuff. I just can't take out. Already doing. You got 35 feet outside the AstroTurf. It's too hot, Roy, to do it outside. I had my pool filled in. Okay, this past summer. I couldn't afford the pool with the chemicals and the upkeep and all of that stuff. Plus, it needed to get a whole bunch of work done to it. So I had it all filled in, and then I had some artificial turf put on the top. So Roy's going to me, oh, you should put your layout outside in the turf. No, it ain't going to happen. It's too hot out there. Let's see. RDA N scale. How's it going, Alan? Nice to see you in here. Wait. There we go. There's another question for you. If you can read these questions, because they
I was just reading it.
Eric liked the idea of using padlocks.
Yeah, so I have padlocks on the fascia.
Uh-huh.
And actually, I got that idea from, 2 people. Eric Miller, if you've ever seen his videos.
Yes.
He's got a nice switching layout that he does.
Mm-hmm.
And then I picked up, Lance Minheim's book on, switching modern day layout kind of, techniques and stuff like that. And that was one of the things that he mentioned, just to kind of slow things down. So I kind of followed the whole Lance Minheim philosophy of, take your time, and even just like switching out one car in one industry It doesn't have to be just, slam it in there, grab one, drop the other one off. You kind of enjoy the whole process, and, we're modeling the real world. And so we try to model all of the different facets. Like, for instance, with the locks, it's, the train has to pull up to the turnout, and the conductor gets off and he goes, over to the turnout. He's got a key and he unlocks it, and then he flips the turnout, and then he puts the lock back on. So it's just something to kind of slow down the pace of when I'm running operations.
Heath has got another question for you. What is Holy Grail or model railroading? Holy Grail or model railroading? What do you really want that has eluded you at this time?
Yeah, more space.
That's everybody's problem.
Yeah, gee, Holy Grail. I don't know. Well, you know what? I really wanted to get a GP38 in Union Pacific that's got, like the beacons on top and stuff like that. And I think Athearn has one coming out later this year. And so I've been kind of holding off on, waiting. I want that locomotive, but that's just the next locomotive, because in between there's all these other ones that keep coming out and I keep buying.
Of course, Heath has got space. Have you seen my space? Yeah, it must be rough for you, Heath. I tell you.
Yeah, doing an apartment layout, Heath, is hard. I don't envy you there. But you've been very creative. I know.
Yeah,
I've seen.
Exactly. Let me move some of this stuff out of the way. Let's see. Are you using DC or DCC, and what brand?
So I use DCC, and I started out with NCE, but then I switched over to ESU. Got my little ESU controller right here.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, I use ESU mainly just for the wireless features on it, and it's a little bit more modern,
What era do you model?
Good question. So my era is current day, but then I've got some locomotives and things that go back maybe like, 10, 15 years or something like that. So, anything that's like, 2000, maybe last 20 years, I guess. So, but generally I try to stay in modern day.
That's about how I am also with mine. Did I ask you about the rolling stock earlier? What's your favorite rolling stock?
Yes. Yeah, that was a tanker car.
Okay, tanker car. Do you do scratch builds or do you do kits?
I guess a little bit of both, but my scratch builds are more like mock-ups. So, scratch building, being really detailed, and, stuff that like you do, Vinny. I try to, the whole purpose of my builds that I did, which were basically just mock-ups, and then I decided to keep them on the layout, is just because eventually I'll scratch build something or use a kit that's a little bit more detailed. So yeah, currently not doing any scratch building unless you consider putting some foam board together and printing out a facade and pasting it on there, scratch building.
Joe Sestito is making a little bit of a comment. He says Atlas has some decent Jeep 38s with ESU loc sound.
Yeah, I have seen those, so I will take a look. Though I'm becoming partial to the Soundtrack Tsunami 2, just because I've been screwing around with it for so much, trying to get it, just the way I like it. I know my way around it, so I'm kind of like, I don't want to go try to learn another.
Yeah, exactly. And everybody's telling me, because I'm using Digitrax, and everybody's saying, oh, you should change to and it was NCE. Yeah, NCE. I'd have to learn everything all over again.
Yeah,
I'm used to my stuff, but people that come here that have been using NCE, it's hard for them to get used to my throttles.
Yeah.
What is this? There's so many buttons and they're so small. It's like, oh well.
Yeah.
I'm looking at some of the chat here. I missed that one. Where did it go? Vinny's going yellow. Hi. Vinny's Gonz yell hi at, that doesn't make any sense. You make any sense out of that? Vinny Gons yell hi at you one last time. Somebody's going to yell at me one more time. That's what I got out of that one. Then I appreciate you. All right, Kevin. Thank you so much. And I will try and send you some of my warm weather. It's been nice today. Today was like 70 something degrees outside. It was windy, but it was nice. Really nice. Well, so far you're doing okay. We got about 2 or 3 more questions.
One question over here. Let me scroll up over here. Or was it? Somebody's Split Rock 323 says, I think a gen set would look cool on my layout here. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I really want a gen set, although they're currently running around. But I think mostly from what I see on like rail fan sites and what I see in the area, in Southern California, is mostly like GP38s, GP60s, things like that. I think a lot of the gen sets are like, I don't know, relegated to to the yard or something like that.
Hello, Mr. Burr Stewart. How's it going, my friend? Glad you could make it in here. Joey Busek's got a question for you. Is there a point where you consider your layout complete, or do you expect to never end?
Yeah, probably never end. Like I said, because my buildings and stuff that you see in any of my videos are, they started out as mock-ups, and then then I move on to doing some scenery or doing some, doing the walls or fencing or a particular industry. And then the whole plan is to eventually go back and upgrade everything. So you're always going from one section to the other and just kind of bringing it up a level, if you know what I mean. So I don't think it's ever really done.
Yeah, it's never really done.
I can't see the end in sight yet.
Mr. Roy Eltham, this, my friend, is for you. This is going to be the roofing for your build. I got that today. So, yeah. And also, I didn't see a CV guy in here tonight. Do you rotate your freight car? Oh, there you go. Burr Stewart. No, that's not the one. This is the one I want. Mr. Burr Stewart wants to know, do you rotate your freight cars?
So all my freight cars are on the layout at all times. And so my layout starts in the yard and then basically just runs all the way out. It's kind of like point to point. So from the yard out to the very end of Huntington Beach, which is the picture behind me. And then I use JMRI to just route the cars. So a lot of the cars are usually getting circulated between some of the different industries, but they usually go back to the yard before they go out to one of the other industries. But I don't have a ton of cars. I don't even know how many I have, but I have enough to service all of the industries and then still have like maybe a dozen or so in the yard ready to go out. So I don't have a shelf. I don't have a cabinet where I've got a whole stash of different ones that I rotate in and out.
So you just use strictly the JMRI, or do you use any car cards?
Now, I started thinking when I first started doing this layout, I was going to do car cards, and it looked really complicated. And then I wanted something that was a little bit more, what do you call it? Just kind of spur of the moment. It was going to surprise me or something like that. I didn't want to know that, I have a car here and it goes here and then it goes to the next spot and then I flip the card over and it goes to the next spot and it goes to the next spot. And that's where I discovered JMRI operations. So I started using that. So I build a lot of trains and a lot of routes, going to all the different industries, and, I could just build it. I could tweak a couple of the numbers and stuff like that within the routing of JMRI. And it's a surprise every time I said, build the train. And it's like, okay, what am I doing today? Okay, I'm taking cars and they're going there and they're doing that. So I like the surprise factor that
JMRI sets up your trains. You just go ahead and set up a train for me, and whatever it does is what you work with.
Yeah. So the way I have JMRI set up is every single industry is a location. And then it has a number of spots, spurs and maybe an off spot in the location. And so then I can build trains and routes to any different number of industries. So I can service like, 2 industries that are pretty straightforward and maybe only take me half an hour, to do, or I can do a couple of the more complicated industries and maybe do 3 or 4 of them. And it might take me 45 minutes to an hour to do. So I like the flexibility there. Like my JMRI trains, I think I have like 30 different trains set up.
Right.
Going to different places on the layout.
One of these days, I got to figure out why my JMRI doesn't want to play with me. It just quit on me one night, and that was it. I could never get it back to work. I even went out and bought another. Digitrax uses an interface. It's I forgot the model number, what it is, but I went out and bought the updated version of that particular thing, and it still doesn't work. I tried uploading or doing Java, getting new Java hooked up and all that stuff. Even on this computer, because I have 2 computers. The other computers in one of my train rooms that I use strictly for contest emails is basically all I use it for. But I tried hooking it up on this computer, and it wouldn't work on this computer either. It just doesn't like me. So I don't know.
JMRI is a little finicky, but there's a learning curve to that.
Mr. Roy Smith of N-Scale Union Pacific Edison Division. Rick, tell us about your staging yard.
So my staging yard is actually, when I started building the layout, I was initially just going to have, a point-to-point. And then I figured out, well, I need a staging yard. I need to someplace where the cars are going to come in from the outside world and, make their way into my layout. And then after looking at Google Maps and looking at the routes and doing a little, little internet investigation and research, figured out, trains that go to Huntington Beach, they come from Los Nitos Yard in, Santa Fe Springs or Southeast LA. And so my staging yard is actually just that yard. So everything gets put into the yard right there. Like I said, my cars never leave the layout per se. They go out to the industries, they come back into the yard and get recycled. Or, theoretically, I guess, they go off and they do some other things and come back.
All right, I have 2 more questions for you, and then we'll see if the group has any questions for you.
All right.
How do you clean your layout?
So I use
the second part of asking, what do you use?
Okay, so by clean layout, you mean like the track or the layout?
The track. Well,
okay.
The track first. The track first, and then maybe if you have if you clean the layout itself, how do you
clean the layout with a shop vac? So everything is glued down. So if it doesn't stay down with the shop vac, going over, it's not on the layout. So that's how I keep the dust and stuff off. But the track itself, I use what is it, like that electrical contact cleaner? It's a spray that you can get at like Home Depot or Lowe's.
The CR26 or whatever.
Yeah, I think, or CRC or something like that.
26, yeah. So, 226.
That's what I use. I use that, and I use, sometimes you get those really soft cloths, like if you buy binoculars or a camera or something like that, and I just spray it on there and run it around on the rails. And my layout's not that ginormous that, in like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I can pretty much do the entire layout.
Mr. Manny Fernandez wants to know, can you give us a look at your layout?
Yeah, can I share something?
Sure, go ahead.
I don't know how to share though.
Don't ask me because I'm not a computer.
Oh, here we go. Share. Let's see.
There is a button down at the bottom that says share.
Let's see. I'll do this. Share screen. Here we go. All right. Hopefully you can see that. Let me know if you can see that screen.
I can see it.
Okay, good. So these are just pictures of my layout. So these are a little bit older.
That's a good size right there.
Yeah. It's one of the first industries that I quote scratch built. You can see it. It's just a box with some printed printed facades on
Yeah,
it.
but it's also, you took it a step further by putting those archways in the front over there, so it doesn't look like a box, and then you put the
Yeah, this is all printed out. So there's no three-dimensional stuff on there. I mean, eventually, you can add additional things. Skipping through my video or my pictures here, but yeah, this is generally the layout. Let me see if I can give you something a little bit more updated. I got a lot of pictures in here. Well, actually, I'm going backwards. So there's how it started. Something like that.
Now, on that particular road right there, you have your backdrop that continues that. Did you have that backdrop made?
So all my backdrops, that's just a Google Street View.
Okay.
So I think it's Beach Boulevard and something else. And I go on Google Street View. I find something that looks good, and I just do a screen capture of it and then print it out, and kind of cut it out and whatnot.
Yeah, because you did a good job on that, and Roy Smith does a good job on his layout. Have you ever watched Roy Smith's channel?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so you've seen his backdrop. He does basically the same thing as you. He's got that road that goes into the backdrop, and the backdrop continues off, and it kind of curves out to the side. So it looks really good, and I like yours too.
Yeah, it's almost like I mentioned Lance Menheim's thing. But his book on like operating a modern era, switching layout. His whole premise is that it's kind of like you're doing a show, like where you're a producer and you're producing a show here. And it's almost like, this is our stage and these are our props in the background, is your little printed out buildings and things like that. So
Humanity Junction says, have you considered adding a helix and a second level? Sparky must ask that question.
Yeah, I mean, I have considered it, but I just don't have the room, I think, in my garage. Plus, I may be moving, so I want to kind of hold off.
I didn't see that. Actually, Sparky did ask the question. Hello, Sparky. How you doing, brother? Nice to see you in here. He did ask the question, but I must have missed it, and Heath brought it up so I could see it again. Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, maybe when I move and have a more permanent layout. Well, this one's pretty permanent, but
now since you're mentioning that you might be moving, are you going to consider keeping this one and building onto this one, or are you going to totally take this one apart?
I'll probably keep facets of it. We'll see. It's pretty easy to move. The bench work isn't that complicated and stuff like that. So, it'll probably figure into any future layouts. Yeah.
Hello, Z Fantasy. Glad you can make it in. Sorry, you're a bit late, huh? All right. Well, if anybody's got any questions for Rick, now's the time to ask. We got about 20 minutes left, and see if you guys can rattle his brains a little bit.
Yeah, I think as Roy there said that the photo backdrops make a layout seem much better. It is. It's amazing when you put the photo backdrop on any kind of backdrop. Really makes it, makes it pop.
Now, I have a UPS store down the street from me, and I seen that they have this big, gigantic printer, okay? And I had asked them if I took pictures, would they be able to print it up, into like a 12-inch by however long, like 4 feet maybe? They said yes, as long as picture quality is good, that they can do it for me. And it wasn't that expensive either. It was like 20 or 25 bucks.
Yeah, keeping it stuck to the background though, that's the trick.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially the way I do it. I print on a inkjet printer, and it's just off here at home on regular paper. So you really got to glue it down, tape it down, that kind of thing.
Right. Got a question from Mr. Joey Busak. Question: have you considered playing with different ambient lighting for different times of the day while operating?
Yeah, actually part of my layout has well, the whole layout has LED lighting, on a sort of top fascia. And part of the layout, this part behind me in Huntington Beach, actually has a color LED strip over there. So yes, I actually have played around with that a little bit, doing like evening, so I can turn off the white strip and just leave like a nice sunset colored strip, evening sort of look.
He asks the silliest question. His question is, if you robbed the bank and were independently wealthy, would you still work on your current day job?
No, of course not. I just do YouTube videos. That's it.
And Brian, Peter Clark saying, I think Heath is on drugs. Oh God. So come on, guys. Let's give him a couple more questions. Let's see. Humanity's asking another question here. Was Sparky really here all night and just noticed it, or did he just get here? I think he just got here, Heath. I don't think he was here. He might have been lurking. He did that to me last week. He was lurking. Here's a question. Let's see what it says. Was there ever a conflict between the layout and why?
No.
Oh, and the wifey. Okay, got it.
Yeah. No, like I said, it's part of my garage, so she doesn't care. And I think the only, well, I mean, she likes that I'm here, so instead of I'm running around, drinking beer someplace with the guys or something, I'm home in the garage working on my trains. I think the only beef is when she looks at the checkbook every once in a while.
that would probably scare her. Ray Central 127. Any foreign power on your layout?
Yeah, well, I guess my layout is Union Pacific, but I do have my Santa Fe GP7 just because what the heck. And I do have a few older locomotives. I have a BNSF locomotive that I got to get running right, but generally they're all Union Pacific, with the exception of that Santa Fe. James
Young, what is your favorite kind of equipment to run as far as manufacturer?
That's hard. So the locomotives I have are Athearn. All of them are Athearn Genesis, and then I have scale trains. I have two SD40T-2s. I like both of them. Again, we're talking Tsunami 2 decoders in the Athearns, and ESU Lokesound, however you say it, in the scale train one. So there's a little bit different, between the two, and my buttons aren't exactly mapped on my controller similarly, but I like both of them because it's just the high detail from both of those manufacturers.
Some of the comments in here are really funny. James Young says, we all need to take lessons from Roy Smith on wife training.
Include her in the video, I guess,
Maybe there you go.
Running with me.
Well, Roy lives down in Panama, right?
Yes. Yep. No, I know. And I've seen his videos. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have my wife maybe do like be the engineer, and I can be the conductor in some op video or something.
There you go. All right. So let's see. I'm checking this out, see if there's any more questions in here. I feel like ESU sounds. Let's see. Joey Busick's making a statement here. I feel like ESU Lokesound has a throatier sound than to do diesel recording. I don't know.
I think both of them sound pretty good.
Are you still using ESU cab controller? Just asking because I just saw one.
Yep. Here's mine. Like I said, I like that because I bought it because my layout is a big circle. It's a big loop, right? Where I go into the center of it and stand in there. And I just hated being tethered with my my NCE, power cab or whatever the cab controller thing was. So picked up the ESU just for the Wi-Fi capabilities, so I can walk around and not trip over the cables.
How you doing, Ryan? Nice, glad you can make it in here. I will give you a call tomorrow. Let's see. Roy Smith. Yes, my wife is confining me to my training room. That's no bad. But that's not a bad place to be. I agree, Roy. Any coffee shops on your layout? Some of these questions these guys are asking are pretty funny.
Yeah. I see one there. Other than ballasting, what is your favorite other thing to do on your layout? I'm assuming that's like the opposite because I hate ballasting. So what do I absolutely hate to do on my layout is, let me think about this. I hate putting up the backgrounds. I hate trying to keep everything stuck to the background. And I used good glue and stuff like that. But you know, it's in the garage, so the temperature can go from 100, you know, and 5 to 40 degrees.
Yep.
California, and so it's regular paper over here, and it starts to warp a little bit, or it'll start peeling or stuff like that. So I'm almost constantly fighting with putting the backdrops back, kind of redoing the glue, even on the buildings and things like that. People that have seen my channel know that street, I've like redone my street, like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 times, because it's actually a printed out street that I just have glued down.
Right.
And then it starts warping. So I hate having to do that, but I don't know. Eventually at some point I'll get to the point where I do it, proper, I guess, and I won't have to do that.
Brian from Inked Rails has a question for you. He says, do you prefer lighted interiors for your buildings, or do you leave them empty?
So I would love to light my interiors, but I don't have any interiors to light. I think I have 2 buildings that are actual 3-dimensional buildings, other than just like a fascia, on the background. So, right. And again, they're pretty simple. It's just a foam core box. That's it. But once I get to the point of actually scratch building something, yeah, I would love to do some lighting in the buildings. I really like seeing some of the different layouts on YouTube where they're running it at night, and you've got the street lights, and you've got the the building interiors all lit up. That looks really cool.
Well, I think on my layout, I'm probably just going to light up the streets and some work lights in the yard. But as far as buildings, I don't think I'm going to do the buildings. I'm going to put other animation on there. I'm going to put the crossing gates and all that, animated crossing gates and sound and all that stuff. That's all going to be done. But as far as lighting the buildings, I don't know yet. I really don't know yet. It would be nice. It would be. I have
a whole list of to-dos, so I got to get telephone poles. I got to get all sorts of crossings. 20 million things to do, but that's how we keep going and going.
Yep. So when you're ready for your electronics for your street crossings, look up Logitech.
I have. Yep.
Okay. Sprintlock got a question for you. Are you a member of a club or the NMRA?
No to both. So I do watch a lot of videos from a lot of the different NMRA sites that post their videos and stuff like that. Really like those. And as far as clubs, I did check out a couple of clubs here in the local area, in Southern California, back when I started like a year and a half ago, and then everything went to the crapper. So, I haven't joined any yet, although I'd be very open to it.
Well, Roy, my little brother Roy, Container Man, says I should at least light up Smith Pipe and Steel. Smith Pipe and Steel, I don't know if you ever really took a look at that. That was my very, very first scratch build that I did. And I liked that building so much because it was so big, and I had a tour of the place, and and they used to get rail service, but they don't get rail service now because it has to go across a major street to get from the yard to their company. And I don't know if it was the city of Phoenix or if it was BNSF that finally decided that we're going to eliminate that spur. So they don't get any train service anymore. But the reason why I built it is because it had overhead cranes in it, and the train went in the building. It's really cool. So that was my very first scratch build that I did. And I think I did a good job on it. I'm not 100% sure because that's the first time I used steel, like steel I-beams and trusses and all that kind of stuff. But so he's telling me I should light that one up. There's another one. Would you ever operate on the La Mesa Club in San Diego? How far from is the club?
Yeah, I'd love to operate over there. I've been to it a couple of times. And I love their layout, but it's about 50 minutes. Everything in California is like an hour away. So
yeah,
Vinny.
And that's with no traffic.
Yeah, exactly. So,
but you ever find a time of the day when there's no traffic, you're lucky.
Yep.
I used to travel from Palmdale. You know what Palmdale is, right?
Yep.
Down to Los Angeles to work. That was my daily trip every day.
Yeah, somebody said they wanted to see a track diagram, so I can bring that up.
Yeah, here's Otter Creek. He's the one. Can we see a track plan?
All right, so here is any rail. Let me know when you can see it.
No, it's not up yet. There you go.
There we go. All right. So yeah, here's the track plan with the industries. I can go ahead and kind of get rid of some of this stuff. Well, anyway, but it's basically just a big loop right here. This red divider down at the bottom that's a backdrop that separates the interior from the actual yard down here. But everything starts at the yard down here at the bottom, goes across my little lift up bridge, across a little section, at the end of the garage. The garage door is actually right here. Mm-hmm. And then kind of goes into, La Mirada, Santa Fe Springs, Cerritos area. And that's where I do all my switching here. Goes through an area over here that's currently going to be called, it was Stanton back when I started the layout, but it's going to be Anaheim. And then comes down this way into Westminster and Huntington Beach. So, but there's a turnout right here, and I have a little opening within the backdrop, and I can come back around into the yard, so I can actually rail fan a little bit.
Pretty cool little layout you got. I mean, I like watching you do your op sessions. That's my thing. I like doing op sessions. Let's see, which track do you use?
I use code 100, Atlas Flex Track mostly, and then all the turnouts are Pico small. So I don't know what that equates to. I think that's like number 6, right, or something, or 4.
Number 4 is probably.
Yeah, so I use all of them are Pico turnouts. Like I said, small just because I'd love to use bigger ones, but because of the limited space, I just went small.
Hello, John, TSG Multimedia. Glad you can make it in, my friend. Let's see, who else we got? Any more questions? Do you have, there you go. Do you have access to the backside of your staging? Oh, yeah, you do, right?
Yeah. This whole thing sits in my garage. So the only access I don't have is at the top over here.
Hello, Dats. How's it going, my friend? Glad you can make it in. All right. Well, we're just about out of time. And let's see, what are you putting up here?
Sorry about that. There we go. I'm moving stuff between my screens.
There you go. You're obviously better at computers than I am. Let's see. We got another one here. Just curious, why don't you use Atlas turnouts?
So I had a whole bunch of old Atlas turnouts from prior layouts, and I think I just by chance picked up a Pico track, with the little spring where it just kind of snaps back and forth. And it just seemed nice. So that's what I went with. It wasn't anything against Atlas.
Well, I had tons of problems with my Atlas tracks. I don't know if you're aware of this, but I use code 55 track.
Yep.
and Atlas was one of the only manufacturers that was doing actual code 55 track. Pico was doing a dual track. It was like a code 80 and a code 55, and I bought those. I mean, I like the idea that, you didn't have to use a tortoise machine or any kind of ground throw or anything, because it would just stay, when you flip it. But I had so much work to get it to work with my track that it wasn't worth it for me.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I liked about the Pico again, was that spring action that just kind of flips it back and forth. It kind of fit what I was doing, like trying to model, you actually have to put your hand in there and you actually have to flip the track kind of thing. So that's why I don't use tortoises or anything like that, because that's the way it works in the real world. The conductor has to go over there and flip the thing.
Yeah, exactly. Split rock. Have you ever thought of building your own switches, fast tracks?
I don't have the time, unfortunately.
I'll tell you one thing though, the fast tracks, they are awesome turnouts.
Yeah, I've seen different videos with them, and they look really nice and everything. I maybe when I retire and I'll have more time on my hands.
Yeah. Well, Rick, we're just about out of time, and I appreciate you finally getting on the show here.
Yep. Everything's working
after 2 failures. But yeah, I am glad that we finally got to meet, and I hope everybody will go to your channel. Whoever is not subscribed to you will subscribe to you. Rick has, hold on, I think it's like 1,900 subscribers.
Yeah, I don't even know.
I think it's 1,900. Let me see here. I wrote it down. If I can find it.
1934. So I think it went up since we started the show. So welcome aboard, everybody. Hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I like doing these Meet the Modeler shows, because people, they see your layout, they see what you're doing on your layout, but they never see the person.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why I thought I would, with Sparky and I, we actually started with meet the live streamers, and then I took it a step further to meeting the modelers. And I think it's a good thing because, like I said, the people get to see who.
Yeah, you put a face to the layout kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I try to do some videos where I'm on screen and stuff like that. So yeah.
Let's see. Always nice to see the person. Yep, Sparky. That's exactly. Good show, cooking dinner. Yeah, I got to figure out what I'm going to eat tonight.
Yeah, go to Ted's Hot Dogs.
I got a couple of choices I got tonight. I don't think it's going to be Taco Bell tonight. Maybe Arby's. I might do Arby's tonight.
So before the show started, I was trying to convince, because I used to live in the Phoenix area, and I was trying to convince Vinny to go to a place called Ted's Hot Dogs in Mesa. Really good. Especially if you're like from New York. Come on, these are like real hot dogs.
You mean they're like Nathan's?
Yeah, these things are really good.
And
it's like pizza in California used to be, kind of. You couldn't get real pizza in California. But
I know. That's funny thing that you mentioned that, because I am so used to New York pizza that when I left New York, that was the saddest thing, that I could not get a New York, New York pizza.
Yeah, well, I know California's gotten a lot better, so there's a lot of good pizza places here.
No one puts ketchup on a hot dog. But that's true, actually.
I switch off.
Otter Creek in Rio Grande says, I've been too chicken to show my face. Well, then you know what? I'm gonna have to get you on my show. All right, guys, we're going to call it good tonight. Again, Rick, thank you so much for giving me your time to be here with me tonight. I appreciate it. Keep up the good work on your layout. It's really, really awesome stuff you're doing. I like the op sessions, like I said. And again, whoever has not subscribed to Rick, head over to his channel and give him some love and subscribe to his channel. And when you do subscribe, watch at least one of his videos and comment on that video, because if you don't, YouTube will just kick you out.
Yep.
So anyhow, with all that being said, have a great week. Don't forget my premiere video tomorrow. It's going to be part 1 of the build I am doing for Mr. Melvin Thackler. Anyhow, we'll talk to you guys later. Bye for now.
Thanks, Vinny.
Take care, everybody.
And thanks everybody for the chat.